In a quiet suburban town nestled amidst the rolling hills, a middle-aged woman named Margaret found herself living a seemingly normal life. She had recently moved into an old Victorian house, which exuded a certain charm despite its age. Little did she know that her peaceful existence was about to be shattered by an encounter with the supernatural. Margaret had always been an adventurous soul, unafraid to face challenges head-on. As she settled into her new home, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. Strange occurrences began to unfold around her, subtle at first, but gradually intensifying. It started with peculiar sounds, whispers echoing through the hallways, creaking floorboards in the dead of night, and faint cries that seemed to emanate from within the walls. Margaret attributed these eerie phenomena to the house's age, dismissing them as mere quirks of an ancient dwelling. But as the days passed, the inexplicable events escalated, forcing her to reconsider her initial skepticism. One evening, while Margaret sat in the cozy reading nook by the fireplace, engrossed in a novel, a chilling gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the flickering flames. Startled, she rose from her seat, her heart racing. As she reached for the matches, she noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The room seemed charged with an otherworldly presence. Unbeknownst to Margaret, the spirit of a woman, trapped between worlds, had taken an interest in her. This ethereal apparition, known as Evelyn, had once called this house her home, but a tragic fate had left her soul forever tied to its walls. Her unfinished business bound her to the earthly realm, yearning for resolution and release. As Margaret navigated through her everyday life, the presence of Evelyn grew increasingly apparent. Cold drafts became more frequent, objects inexplicably moved from their designated spots, and the feeling of being watched lingered like an unwelcome guest. One restless night, Margaret awoke to find her bedroom filled with an icy mist, and the dim silhouette of a woman materializing before her eyes. Panic seized her heart as she recognized the figure, Evelyn, the ghostly specter she had heard whispers about. Trembling with fear, Margaret mustered the courage to speak. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" she stuttered, her voice barely audible. Evelyn's ghostly form quivered, her ethereal voice resonating with sorrow. "I am Evelyn, trapped in this house for eternity. Please help me find peace. My soul yearns for release from this torment." Overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation, Margaret reluctantly agreed to assist Evelyn in her quest for redemption. She delved into research about the house's history, poring over faded documents and visiting local archives in search of any clues that could unveil Evelyn's past and provide the key to her liberation. Through Margaret's tireless investigations, the tragic story of Evelyn's life began to unfold. Born into a wealthy family, Evelyn had fallen in love with a man her parents disapproved of, Jonathan, a struggling artist with no means to support her lavish lifestyle. Determined to be together, they defied societal expectations and eloped in secret. However, their bliss was short-lived. Shortly after their marriage, a devastating fire consumed their home, claiming both Evelyn and Jonathan's lives. Evelyn's spirit, unwilling to let go of her former existence, had become bound to the house, forever tormented by the memories of her unfinished life. As Margaret dug deeper, she discovered a hidden chamber within the house, a forgotten room concealed behind a bookcase in the attic. Within its walls lay an array of artifacts that told the tale of Evelyn's forbidden love and the tragedy that befell her. Among the artifacts was a locket, delicately engraved with Evelyn and Jonathan's initials. Armed with newfound knowledge, Margaret devised a plan to liberate Evelyn's soul. Consulting with a renowned psychic, she learned of an ancient ritual that had the power to sever the ghostly ties that held Evelyn captive. Together, they prepared for the ritual, gathering the necessary components and performing intricate ceremonies. The locket, Margaret believed, held the key to completing the ritual and freeing Evelyn from her spectral prison. As midnight approached, Margaret and the psychic stood in the attic, the locket resting upon an ancient altar. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows upon the room's peeling wallpaper. Margaret's palms were clammy, her heart racing with anticipation and trepidation. With unwavering determination, Margaret recited the incantation, her voice resonating with a blend of hope and fear. As the last word left her lips, a surge of energy pulsed through the room, the air crackling with an otherworldly force. The locket glowed with an ethereal light, and Evelyn's ghostly figure materialized before them. Evelyn, eyes brimming with gratitude, stretched out her spectral hand toward Margaret. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice a whisper in the night. "I can finally find peace." Margaret extended her trembling hand, the locket nestled within her palm. As their fingertips connected, a surge of energy coursed through her, an inexplicable connection between the living and the departed. Evelyn's form began to dissipate, a serene smile etched upon her face. In one final moment, Evelyn's spirit disintegrated, vanishing into the ethereal realm. The house, once plagued by the lingering presence of its former inhabitant, now felt serene and free. Margaret breathed a sigh of relief, feeling an immense sense of accomplishment and closure. The ordeal had changed her, leaving an indelible mark on her soul. She knew she would never look at the world the same way again. As Margaret bid farewell to the old Victorian house, she carried with her the memory of the haunting and the extraordinary bond she had forged with Evelyn. Though her life would continue, the ghostly encounter would forever serve as a reminder of the ethereal realms that exist beyond our understanding, the realm of spirits and the stories they yearn to share with those brave enough to listen.